Greetings everybody and welcome back to Rebuilding the Commonwealth with myself. As you can see, we're looking at Jamaica Plain, and you know what that means? We're finished. Jamaica Plain is officially finished. I want to first of all thank everybody who came to Rebuilding the Commonwealth live. That was my first ever live stream on this channel, and I appreciated the turnout. That was really good to chat with you guys. We did quite a lot on stream. Did a lot of the details. I finished a lot of the details off camera, so I figured this episode is going to be a lovely way to round off and give you guys who maybe haven't tuned in for the whole series a settlement tour. I know you guys do love your tours. I've had it requested a few times, so this is going to be a tour video. As always, make sure you drop a like, comment and subscribe down in the bottom there. I'm not going to bore you with the rest because every YouTuber does it, but it really helps me out. The subscribers are coming in pretty fast, so thank you very much. Also, there is one opening for a settler that I haven't named yet, and that settler is the mayor. So if you guys have suggestions for the name of the mayor, what I want you to do is give me the name suggestion. It has to be first name, last name, like John Smith, Liam Jones, or whatever it is. So tell me what your favourite part of this settlement is, and tell me the name that you want me to use, and I will pick one at random. So, let me take you through here. I must apologise for my voice, by the way. I am actually coming down with a little cold just in time for spring, so if my voice is a little bit off, please do excuse me, but we'll make the most of it. So, this over here is the west gate. If you look on the map reference, it is this side. Southwest. Down below is the Gunners Plaza. So we're at the southwest entrance. This is where in the vanilla game you would find the build area. I will apologise in advance for the frame rate. I've built so much in this part of the settlement that the frame rate is about 15, so this is definitely the busiest I've ever built it. So, if you're coming in as a settler, this will be the first point you see. You come straight through to the fountain. On the left hand side you have a tank which we have lovingly restored. So anybody sat over there on the other side of the river, we will shell them. We will shell them to pieces, I promise you that. You have your watchtowers which watch the way that you come in. This is guarded by Sergeant Thomas Highway. I believe somebody requested that name, so thank you very much for that. So you've got Sergeant Thomas Highway, who's a reservist. You have Captain Gavin King. He's one of the senior members of the infantry division, which is stationed here. I believe that's also a viewer suggestion, so thank you very much. On the opposite side, in the other tower, you have Specialist Chris Elms, who I also believe is a suggested name, so thank you very much for that as well. So if you're going to work in this settlement, you would go to the Knackers Yard, which is right here, behind the building that the vanilla settlement would have. This is the vanilla building. In the Knackers Yard here, you have scrap positioned just about everywhere. A lot of this is crap that came with the settlement to begin with, so boxes, these broken down vans and cars. You've got all of the acetylene you need to deconstruct these vehicles for scrap. I've just noticed this settler was actually supposed to be a ghoul, so I think he has been corrupted and has generated a new skin. So that's quite funny. You've got somewhere to sit down, but this Knackers Yard covers the entire roadway at the bottom of Jamaica Plain. Somebody suggested having these vending machines on their side, so I lovingly obliged and put them down. There's an area for the work people to sit here. This is made up of CVC furniture like tyres. So when people sit here, they will pick up their beer. They will, they'll actually use the stuff that's on the furniture. It's all got its own animation set. Little trolley for the guys who are working to put their gotten gains in there. So a lot of this stuff is pre-war, which has been made useless by the bombs, which we are repurposing. So this is down in the Knackers Yard. At the moment there are 5 people working here. That's how it's going to remain. Just for your consideration, I do have 82 out of 82 people living here in Jamaica Plains, so we have quite a big workforce. Those are the stats. 85 food, so that covers everybody and then some. Enough beds for everybody. The top of this wall, we have a small 1-storey house that we've built on the edge of the settlement. As you can see, the settlement has been completely walled off on the south side with an extra entrance gate up here. This is because quite a lot of raiders will attack from this part of the map in the flooded city, and we of course don't want that. So we have this part walled off. The top here used to be the path to the bus stop. I've kept some of the pathway for the aesthetics, but everywhere else has been covered over in lush green grass. The theme for this is lush green grass. It's kind of supposed to represent as pre-war-y as you possibly can. In this house we can sleep 2 settlers. It is a little bit dark in here. I must have forgot to put a light in. But the settlers have their supplies. They can bunker down in here for a while. They've got somewhere to sit and enjoy themselves. Some storage crates. This sunroom that comes off the side of here has a pretty decent view, and it also has some sliding doors to give yourself a little bit more privacy if you're going to sleep at night, because your bed is right here. You can see these guys haven't moved in very long ago. They do still have their suitcases that they still haven't fully unpacked yet. Some ammo between them and a few personal effects. As well, this is what I would call on the danger zone if places get attacked. So it stands to reason they'd have all their ammo here. A place you can sit and play board games, this little 1-storey house. And your back door will take you right out to the edge of the settlement. The idea behind this area here was that we have this transition between lush green grass back to wasteland as you reach the edge, which I think I achieved quite well in this part of the this part of town. Now this building here, as you come into the settlement, this building is part of the vanilla setup. If you remember correctly, in vanilla there was a broken house with a large chunk of the wall missing. Well, that particular house with the actual workshop in it, which is there, this has been reskinned, i.e. I've taken down the walls that were there before and we've replaced it with this fancy commercial stone. You'll also recall that there, in the vanilla setup, is a house here. As you can see, I demolished that house from the ground up, so this house no longer exists, and all I've done is replace it with a footpath so you can cut through from the Knackers Yard, which I think gives quite a bit more accessibility for the settlers, and I think it overall looks quite nice from up here. I really need to sink this in because it's a bit of an eyesore. Bear in mind, there might be a few imperfections as we go round, but rest assured I will finish them off camera if there are. Now, inside the ground floor here, it's all been redone with this nice golden outlook, which looks absolutely gorgeous, I might add. This is a storage area. Part of this comes from the Knackers Yard, so this is extra stuff the Knackers Yard will be using or has packaged up. Oh, sounds like a dog fell off somewhere there. It has a toilet stall down here and wash station, complete with mirror. And it also has a communal shower station for you to freshen up after a hard day out in the field or, you know, doing your various jobs. So you can come here to freshen up. You've also got lockers for the settlers to relax and get changed in comfort. I like to think this place looks quite warm and inviting despite the mess. This is one of our Special Forces soldiers, Andrea Rodway. These guys are one of a kind. They're the first 6 of their division.
Yes.
You can see they have their Special Forces tag on their shoulders, as well as the reconnaissance profession. So these guys are our hitmen. These guys are our Black Ops. Now, you're probably wondering, the second floor has been built. Well, I also did rebuild the second floor, and I added this staircase here to get up to it. Provisioners. I added this staircase to the side, so you have a kind of one up and one down house. Now, upstairs here, you have the Special Forces office. This was one of the first things we built. Excuse me, have a little bit of a power glitch there. Sometimes lights do go off. So up here, I am conscious of the fact that it is now night time, so let me wind forwards here. What I've also done is I've taken away a lot of the soldier schedules so that all of them will be out at the same time. So believe me, if there's like 6 guards somewhere, 3 are at night and 3 are on the daytime. But I've brought them all out for the purposes of showing you what the settlement looks like. So yeah, during the day. So this is the Special Forces second in command, Robin Rackham, with her beret. She has the special documents here. She's got photographs of who they need to take out, folders on people we're planning hits on, a person to sit and scribe, some training manuals, all of that is here. The captain of the team here is Gordon Baker. He's busy at the moment in this terminal. He's working away. He can file away all the files. He's very well organised. He's got his notes that he needs to take and report back to HQ, the castle. The Special Force team's ammo is set up over here. And to give himself a little bit of privacy, their food supply is just behind him, creating this makeshift wall just behind. Other members of the team include Andrea Rodway, of course, Corporal. Includes Jim Tate, Jericho Chisholm, and downstairs we have Lewis Plant, who is watching the door. Of course, 5 beds, sorry, in succession. 6 over here for Gordon's. I thought a little bit of decoration with posters would go a long way. So I do quite like that touch. And of course, what is a Special Forces team if they haven't slain a mythical Deathclaw? So I think that adds a nice little touch. And our patriotic banners for the new Commonwealth. Overall, this was one of my favourite builds. I think it came together so well, kept the shape perfectly. So this is still in the vanilla area. I'm not sure why I keep hearing that dog howling. There's probably a dog nearby that keeps teleporting and injuring itself. Also part of the vanilla settlement. Actually, before we do that, this fence over here I've actually put up in between the last episode. I figured the urban gardens were really green and this place was really grey. So as you can see, I sprinkled in some living trees to make this place look a bit nicer. These guys here who guard the front gate have access to this pod here. So we've got 3 beds, so they will rotate day and night. So you'll have one guard up in the tower during the night, you'll have the sergeant on relief duty during the night, and you'll have the captain there on during the daytime. They're both armed with sniper rifles, of course, because they're up in the tower. Let me just show you as well.
Just wanted to trade a few things.
Go ahead.
All of the Minutemen in this settlement have identical uniforms with their various perks for their accolades. So if they're a captain, they will have a specific custom-made beret. All of the uniforms for the 11 ranks are completely unique. A captain here has his captain badge on his chest, which I can't quite show you because he's facing the wrong way. But captains have a beret, they have their rank insignia on their chest. There you go, you can see it just there. And they don't wear helmets. Likewise, the specialist does. I was really hoping I wouldn't be attacked. Let me just very quickly deal with this. Excellent. Sorry about that. You can see that frame rate is awful. So yeah, all of these guys have their own specific uniforms. So this is still in the bounds of the vanilla settlement. I have placed in these rose bushes along here and created an extra tier, which creates a bit of natural beauty and goes with the whole green grass theme. I really like how it turned out. And you've got your little benches as you come through. So if you want to take a break from the Knackers Yard or whatever you're doing, you have somewhere to take a load off. Okay, that is a tradesman. Now, if you remember from the vanilla game, this was just a car parking lot, and yeah, there wasn't really much to be said. What I've done is lift these stairs just a touch so that they match up with here, and then added in a full layer of pathways and park blocks to create this really nice natural park. Fortunately for me, I was able to finagle these pieces just enough to line up with these stairs. Oh, I told you there'd be imperfections. I just need to put a retaining wall there off camera. So these match up perfectly, or almost perfectly, with here. I added these bits in for some extra colour. Again, I can hear this dog, but I have no idea where it is. You'll have to put up with that, I'm sorry. As you go through the back of the park here, you come onto the urban gardens. Now, these, I didn't picture them coming out as well as they did. I was just expecting to adapt it around the grass and the roads and just create this kind of torn up road with houses around it. But when I started playing with the roadblocks, I created this really nice urban effect. So you have a dual pathway back and forth. It's all beautiful trees, very natural. I mean, at the end of the day, the world has ended. Nuclear fire has consumed the earth, and no one's going to be driving cars down here for probably the next 150, 200 years, so makes sense that you pedestrianise it, right? So this garden stretches all the way down the settlement, which I will get to shortly. This house here next to the park, if you remember from the vanilla game, is just a standing structure with, well, nothing in it. It's literally just a standing structure. It's a solid block, it doesn't have an interior, it's just for decoration. Well, my Scrap Everything mod allowed me to, well, as the name suggests, scrap it. What I did in the episode where I built this was go round the building and measure how many units of the wall I could use to reconstruct it. And I kind of added my own take. So the dimensions around this, that dog is getting very annoying. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to fast travel back and forth and see if that stops the teleporting issue. One moment. There we go. I think I've solved it now, which is great. So yeah, you'll remember this house was just a derelict, just part of the terrain. I calculated the number of units that I would need to reconstruct it exactly the way that the game had put it in, but in my own pieces, and then naturally add my own adaptation to it. So the original house does have this bay window, and it does have this sunroom. So what I did was position a couple of walls to get the position correct, then delete what was there initially and rebuild it from scratch. Luckily, this house doesn't have any pre-combines in it, so I don't get these graphical tears like I do with some of the others. I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. So inside this house, you have your decking, which I've restored quite lovingly, with enough path just to get to the front without disrupting anything. I kept a little bit of the sidewalk so we could put a lamppost in. In here you have your kitchen just off to one side, which has its normal decorations as a working kitchen. A nice little living room. These people are obviously avid bobblehead and hollow disc collectors, so holotapes, I'm sorry. They have the stereo here with their Caps collection. They built these little miniature robots as well. A nice brand new board game. Don't Be Bored Games Company. That's quite cool. That's quite funny actually. I'll give them that one. Of course, out here they have their clock, keep track of time, where you can relax in the sunroom for what little sun you get here. I didn't fill any of the fridges in, but they do have food hanging around. Upstairs here, you have a lot of the possessions for the residents. This house sleeps 1, 2, a cap stash here, 3, and 4. So you get 4 people living here. The place is minimally decorated with a few bits to break up the walls here and there. The house didn't initially have a balcony, but I figured this house would look really good with one. This was one of the most complicated and most annoying balconies I think I've put up in this settlement, so love me for this, please. This took a lot of trial and error. A little bit of light out front as well. You've got a pretty good view from up here. You can see everything coming and going. Excellent. And of course the third floor is the loft, or the attic. Ooh, that's not good. Didn't notice that before. Up here is the attic. It's quite minimalist, but this sleeps 2. This was for the sake of getting the Knackers Yard staff in here. This also has a pretty nice view from up here. If you think about it, you can see out here to the church. Speaking of which, but there's enough light up here to... it's got that issue again where it's cutting the power. I have messed with the power in this settlement way too often for it to start taking, so that does make sense. I can't really blame the game for that. Excellent. So if you live here, you have quite a nice view of everything. You're not too far from the Knackers Yard. Go to work. Nice and easy. Now, across the street, if you remember, this was a sitting area with a few gravestones and a bit of playpen. Well, as you can see, I have rejuvenated this entirely into grass and flowers. We have somebody here paying their respects to the Minutemen. I have fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I have kept the faith. Excuse me, that is my Steam notifications, not yours, just in case. There's some tributes left for the fallen Minutemen. And of course the graveyard has been revamped. The graveyard has been set up to be, a proper fitting place for the burial of the Minutemen who have fallen in battle. I mean, the world is being put back together by me, so why can't funerals? Why can't all that kind of stuff? So, I really like this. It was a really heartfelt thing when I put this together, so I really wanted to get it right. You got your flag. This really, really highlights the Minutemen and the fact that we're now an army rather than just some dribs and drabs. I mean, hell, I'd sign up for the Minutemen now because they're actually quite interesting in my canon, my canon and lore. There's only one annoying thing about this graveyard though, is the headstones break, and when they break, I have to come back manually and fix each one of them. So if we get an attack from that side, normally some stray bullets and grenades will take some of the headstones out, and I'll have to go back manually and put it together, which isn't too much of a headache, but it is a bit inconvenient sometimes. One big difference you'll notice is that the church here is a nice, beautiful blue shade here, and not that tired old blue. That is because we have replaced it with the pre-war version. Anything that was in here before has been removed, it's been eradicated, leaving us with this beautiful church. Got candles for paying your respects to whoever's fallen. You have a bench for you to pray at, to give yourself a few quiet moments here in church. This is under the guide of Pastor Maurice Chavez, who will he'll listen to you if you have anything to confess. He is also here giving a sermon, so that's good. I thought pastor was probably one of the most neutral terms I could come up with. I say come up with, it obviously exists, but I didn't want to sort of alienate anybody, so I thought pastor was quite neutral. A bit like an all faiths chapel, really. So up here, nice view of the cemetery and a little bit out into the wasteland. This is where the pastor would sleep and his assistant, who I haven't actually put in yet, or rather I've run out of settlers to do so with. They're of course quite well read, with the books by their side. Typewriter for copying his scriptures and that kind of stuff. Across the other side here, some storage and some extra food in case settlement is running out. And up at the very top, you have the lookout over Jamaica Plain. Of course, it is very foggy at the moment, which I was really hoping it wouldn't be. But that is the way it is. In fact, in some ways it's good because I can show you the rest of the settlement and you can't see it from here. So, yeah, I was tempted to put a heavy sniper for the Minutemen up here. So, you've got a really good overwatch, someone who could ring the bell if they see any trouble coming. But I really don't want to flood my settlements with Minutemen. I want to keep them defended, but not too defended, if you know what I mean. I mean, their guns speak for themselves. Their guns will shred through anybody. This is...
No, people have been complaining a bit about this bed situation.
There's 82 people, 82 beds. Do your maths, idiot. The happiness, by the way, is a little bit bugged. Some days it will go up to 92, and sometimes it will come down to about 71s, but I really don't know what to do about that. But yeah, that is your church. It is open all hours. There's no door for you to get locked out on. You can come here and pray anytime you like. Next to the church here, if you remember, this used to be a rundown little house. Or rather, two rundown little houses, I believe. No, it was only the one. Yeah, it was the big L-shaped house, which was quite rundown. You could use it to climb into the church roof with the post-war version. Well, I stayed true to some of the bits here. For example, I have this generator here supplying power through the wireless electricity. But this wall here is faithful to the original, as well as the staircase. Now, I wanted to put two houses up here, but the space just wouldn't allow me to build anything decent. And, of course, the exterior wall of the settlement is right the way out here. That needs a little bit of touching up there. So yeah, all these rocks and this wall here I placed manually, so that was all my doing. Now up here I took the house down in its entirety, which was quite difficult, and I figured I would replace it with this really, I say nice, but rather nice and militarized plaza. We have Lieutenant McNamara, who is giving oversight to the soldiers here. He's on the radio to the castle and to anywhere else. We have 6 guards who watch over this, which is Aaron Forsyth here.
Hello, sir.
Hello to you too. This is where the guards sleep. The night guys sleep here and the day guys sleep there. It's currently shift change, if you're wondering why they're not there yet. Over here you've got Beatrice Runcorn.
Yes? Huh?
And Lucy Harding. These 3 guard during the day. And then there's a night crew who watch over this place at night. I forgot to put them all on at once. Sorry about that. It's also guarded by turrets because this is quite an open area. So anything that we can do to keep the invaders out is a win in my books. Now this house had a lot of graphical tearing. See? There are some parts that are just completely blacked out. So I'm not too keen on coming up here very much. It is the way it is. You can't fix those pre-con bones. I've broken them for life now. Opposite the way from this this place here, I put this house up, but it is currently vacant. The reason it's vacant is because it's all my crap is in here. So all of the uniforms for my guys in there. All of their guns are in here, which I have to keep under lock and key, lest the settlers and the raiders get hold of it. A lot of this stuff I need to convert into usable equipment. Well, it's usable, but not to my standards. I still have 60 FAMASs for the infantry division, and I still have only 4 pistols, so I need to get some more. The recon ones, I don't think I'm going to be using them for quite some time. Of course, M60s, I don't use many of those at all. They've gone defunct. These are still in circulation, the Minutemen CS5s. Of course, the heavy snipers are issued to artillery soldiers. MP5s are for special forces, but I don't think I'm going to need 74 of these bastards. The artillery UMPs, of course, are for the people who operate the cannons. And Officer Deagles. Well, this entire faction is only going to have a few officers, so I probably won't need this many, but hey. I have a lot of weapons that I'm planning on revamping and putting back in circulation. I actually have a spreadsheet of all of the resources I've used on this armory, so you'll get some interesting facts about this when the series eventually gets finished. But all my crap is in here. My armor benches, the chemistry stations, all that kind of stuff. There is one thing I do very quickly need to make, and that's one of these. A camp. Yes. Also, here's a fun fact for you. Look at how much wood I have left. 755. And that's only because I bought a shipment from the shop here. So, if you think about it, I've used my entire supply of wood building this settlement. Always fun. Again, this house is currently vacant. It has 2 beds, but it is vacant. No one lives here at the moment. I'll probably do this off camera, this house, because it's only going to get finished when I eventually move my crap away somewhere else. Which, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before I migrate all my stuff. And I figured this wouldn't be finished without a path around the side, which goes right over the top of the Knackers Yard and goes back to the 1-story house. Got this decking here. It's quite a nice bit of real estate. I couldn't think of what to do here, but I figured just having a nice patch of green area is never a bad thing, so I left it plain as is. Now, moving along this way, if you remember, this house here was also part of the terrain. It didn't have an interior, it was just decoration. It had pre-combines in it. Well, I force deleted it and rebuilt this from the ground up as well, using the exact same pieces in snappy builds. I added my own extra windows in as well, and I turned it into a parochial house. Now it's absolutely gorgeous outside here with all its wildflowers. Little cat. I haven't named the cat, by the way. But this house is a nice little place to come and relax at the end of the day. We've already got someone in here, Maxwell Deander, coming to relax on his break. You got your little sunroom.
Growing pretty good lately.
Granted, you don't really want to be looking at death all day, so you can sit with your back to it and pretend it's not there. It's got its own kitchen. I put the wrong kitchen in. I used the one from Homemaker instead of CVSS Redo. So that needs to be fixed, which I'll do off camera. Again, I've gone around and painstakingly added all of these decorations. Like all of these were manually placed. The shelves here were not. These are part of the do-it-yourself pack. And some cleaning supplies for the pasta to clean up. Meals ready to eat that are on the table, and of course you can't ever be late for work, so make sure you got your weight master. For a moment I thought that was missing a number, so it's funny. You got your little side table here for your keys. Personally, this is if I had to live anywhere in the settlement, this would definitely be one of the top choices if I had to live here. Oh yes, because he's got a torch on his helmet. That's why that effect is going off. But I thought I'd add this kind of dated wallpaper because I don't think I've ever known a clergyman in my personal experience who has a modern house. So I thought I'd give him a mixture of modern and outdated. Plus, it's a really nice location, this house. Do excuse me one moment. There you go, sorry about that. Thought I heard something kicking off outside, but oh, here we go. Of course this might happen. Luckily, I come prepared for this sort of thing, ever since one of my lovely viewers suggested I keep this handy. So let's see where they come from, and we'll see exactly what happens when the gunners or raiders attempt to take the place from me. I like how slow I move with this thing. Right. I reckon one of this will deal with the whole lot. All I have to do is land it in the right place.
Yes.
I'll find him in a moment. 1 second. Okay, so we're under attack now, and they're over here somewhere.
Who's there? Got company.
You crazy?
Broken.
Okay. I got a free mini nuke out of that as well. They've all spread out. Oh, are you serious? I hit a lamppost. Here we go. Oh, that was a lot less than I expected. A lot less. Never mind. I forgot how much recoil this gun had. This gun hits a lot harder than I remember. Exploding into little bits. Oh my god, there's still a lot of them. This is, by the way, a super attack.
That's Commonwealth justice for you.
There we go. All dead. So that is defending Jamaica Plain in practice. So you've got a special treat from that today, guys. How about that? Oh dear. Nah, where was I? Yeah, it's making sure that's fine there. Okay, so yeah, we've done the parochial house here. This is the entrance to the settlement. We have all of our soldiers here. What I'm going to do is wait for a couple of hours to get everyone back in their normal position, so we keep the effect. Did manage to get myself a cup of tea, keep my throat wet. So here's some name suggestion, guys. So this is Corporal Noah Yelverton. Shout out to my boy Noah Yelverton. He's a pretty cool guy. Comments on all my videos. So thank you for the suggestion. You are hereby immortalised as a squad leader here for Jamaica Plains Minutemen. Private Abigail Silvernails was another suggestion. So here you go. So Abigail is the knight person here. Then we have Private First Class John R. Lewis, also a recommended name for my guys, so thank you for that. First Specialist, or Specialist First Class, Lucia Anderson, who somebody recommended as well. Thank you very much for that one. Private Mason Finster, I remember you recommended this name I think 4 episodes ago, and I haven't done it yet. So here you go. You are immortalised in Minuteman form. Thank you very much for that, Mason. And then we have Specialist Second Class Martha Elms, another name suggested to me, so thank you very much for that. So this makes our team of 6 who guard the East Gate. We don't get attacks from here too often, but when they do get a bit annoying. So this is the opening gate here. We also have fridges of supplies so that the guards don't have to get thirsty on duty. They can actually take a break. Little seating area and a trash can for you to relax while you're on your break. In this corner you have some more guard paraphernalia, some extra weapons and a fat man. I really shouldn't give them a fat man, but hey. Pistols, shelves with some extra food on there for when you're on your break again. Something they've salvaged. I'm not entirely sure why I put that there in hindsight. This is the North Gate. You guys will remember that from the Vanilla Settlement. This house here looks like, well, I say looks like, it is just the bog standard house that was here before. It's got an outline, can't do anything with it. Instead of tearing it down like I did with this one and that one, if I tore this house down, it creates so many graphical issues from breaking the pre-combine that I physically cannot make use of the space. So the best thing I could do was just deal with it as is. So that's exactly what I did, because the net result is more positive when I just put it where it is and get on with it. Cup of tea. Here is a market street, which I'll cover in a sec, because it's now night time and all of the guys who work here will now be off duty, and I want to see them on duty. Let me skip forward to that. There we go. So it's 12 o'clock the next day, so it's nice and bright. So this is a market street. If you guys remember, this road is sloped downwards towards the town hall. As you can see, the town hall is very different. I'll talk to you about that in a second. But this little market street here, I simply built with blocks of grass and created a tiered effect by adding in some retaining wall steps and its own retaining wall to give the entrance to the town hall its kind of lower tier, or at least the road is on a lower tier. We've still got this nice entrance for the hotel here, which I'll also talk to you about in a sec. And we've got our flower beds, customary flower beds, a little bit like that to keep in line with the settlement theme. On this little market street, we have the general merchant and the weapons merchant. Chris McGee, I know you wanted me to name a settler after you, so here is the settler. You are our official general merchant. You sell all the stuff we need, and you are the real MVP because you are selling me wood shipments, and I'm running out of wood, so you're the real MVP. Well done, Chris. But yeah, in all fairness, thank you for the name suggestion, Chris. Here you are, immortalised in Minuteman history. It's a cup of tea. I've put up some paraphernalia for some general sales. A lot of this was placed manually. The Lee Enfield rifles are manual. The Colt pistols here were manual. These were part of a CVC pack. So was the cart here. And the dresser. I figured creating this effect would have been easier by using a packet rather than doing it all completely manually. Some wooden pallets for the stuff he's unloaded. He's also got his little rain cover right behind this decoration on the wall. Next door to them we have Shelby Fine Arms. Nothing to do with the really nice British TV show featuring the Shelby brothers. That is purely coincidental, I must tell you. So we have Maxine Shelby and her brother Richard Shelby, who run the Armory here. Because there are so many guns out here on display for sale, as you can see, there's all kinds of things from the special white mink, FN FAL, SVDs, MPXs, World War II guns like the MP40. Right, there's a lot of weapons here. So we have our personal own Minuteman, Sergeant Tom Sloan. Again, Tom Sloan, thank you for putting your name forward into the hat. It's great to have you here. You are our official market guard. You make sure nobody picks that stuff up. Not that we give it to them loaded, because that is a cardinal sin. We have our sales paraphernalia up here, as usual. These guns are all placed manually, like that Desert Eagle. The shotgun is also manual, so is that, but I think I've put that a little bit too far down to pick up again. We have these weapons here I've placed manually. All of this was CVC ammo shelf, all came from that pack, as well as the general decorations. So it looks like we're actually doing things. The vanilla game is not very good at giving you clutter, and I love putting clutter down. But Richard Shelby here, he is the king of making the guns. As you can see, he's manning the workbench here, Webley Fosbury, and he is fixing and making guns. And she is the one selling them. So she's got the sales smarts, he's got the book smarts. So got a nice little brother and sister partnership. After a fair bit of feedback from the viewers, I decided to put a rain cover over them because it didn't seem fair to have the general guy with his rain shelter and these guys not to. That was a funny way to address my comments. So perfect. In between these buildings here, you have this really nice brick structure. Now, if you cast your eye back to the vanilla game, this brick structure is just part of the terrain. There's nothing in it. Well, that is where you're wrong. Because I deleted that structure and rebuilt it with my own spin. So the front I've stayed relatively faithful to. But this is the Statesman Hotel. I have got it back here, Statesman, in big, not your average neon. And of course this fan hall clock here. So inside here you have your collection of classical art and a little waiting room for your lobby. You have your hotel receptionist, who I still haven't named yet, just realised that. So that is another imperfection for me to add to the list. Minuteman flag, because of course we're patriotic here. In the back room we have the receptionist's living space. He's very minimalist. He basically lives at his job. He's got beer and coffee to keep himself entertained. Plus he can go down to the bar after he finishes his job. Got your community notice board here, which at the moment hasn't got any notices on it. But this is where he would sleep and enjoy his day. I say quite minimalist, but it's him. He likes that. If you've booked a room for the night, that looks a bit terrible there. If you've booked a room for the night, then you would go up here into the hallway upstairs. You would find your way around. You've got a balcony which overlooks the market street. Oh wow, that railing is solid from one side. That must be a new bug. Nice. But yeah, you've got this balcony which overlooks the market street and out into the wasteland and down the nice green terrain and the town hall. So this isn't a bad place for you to stay if you're coming into town for a short term. You've got room 1 here, which is of course very basic. You've literally just got the bog standard you need to live in here. You would decorate this with your own stuff. Of course you've got room 2, which follows a very similar pattern. It's very minimalist. You're just here to stay. You're here to get a room for the night. You're not here to live. Except some of the residents do at the moment. And of course you've got suite number 3, which is your master suite over here. Now this is occupied. You can see the owners here have put out all of their clothes and sheets. They've checked in. They've got a lit cigarette going here. All the filing cabinet, a place for them to work at their desk. Their own little private bathroom for them to enjoy. Shelf for all their clothes. And from up here in the master suite here, you have some lovely views. Got 4 windows, 4 views. I mean, God, does that not look nice? Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I certainly think so. So that is the first floor of the hotel. There was no blocks for me to use to wallpaper this. There's nothing that fits, so you just have to stick with bare plaster here. You've got this lovely silver finish though. You can go up onto the roof, so yep, you do have roof access. Up on the roof you've got some, a lamp up here. Got some light sources. People have come up here to have a drink while forgetting the world on those warm nights or hot days. You can, just forget the world exists and pretend you're not living in a wasteland. Because, I mean, when you're here, it's not a wasteland. You're safe in Jamaica Plain. You get accepted into here, you're well protected. I mean, some of these views are really panoramic, I tell you. Absolutely lovely. And if you're here maybe on temporary stay with the Minutemen, you will have access to this very small annex at the top. Now the annex is nothing but a mansard structure on the roof. There's nothing here because the Minutemen are not currently here on stay, but if the General is coming, like myself, or if maybe Preston has come to visit, or even Sergeant Hartfield, they would stay here. So this is just a very small annex. It hasn't got any decorations, and that is for a reason. So, you've got a little place you can sit up here as well if you want to sit on the patio chairs. So you've got your hotel in the middle of town. One thing you will notice is that is 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles, 4 tiles wide on the first floor. But if you go down to the ground floor, it's 1, 2, 3 tiles. The ground floor is much narrower than the first floor, and that is because behind this wall here is a really high sloped piece of terrain that you cannot reasonably shape around. So all I did was hide the terrain behind an uneven building to the extent that you can't see it. Also, the reason why we have a step here is because all along here, if you look closely, you have this bit of dirt sticking through, which is a bit of an eyesore. If this step and the floor behind the counter is the same height as this part here, there's just a massive mound of dirt sticking through the floor. So I covered it up by creating this one little step to get round to the back of the counter, and I think it blends quite well with what we already have. So I'm really proud of how the hotel turned out. Plus the entrance is quite natural. I think the entrance really fits in where it is compared to what we have around it. I mean, it's there. It doesn't pop too much. It's not too hidden. I think it's like the perfect entrance. I would put a neon over the top, but the problem with that is I can't get the sizing correct to fit one in. Also, you have your Jamaica Plain sign, which we're going to put in every settlement which is finished. Jamaica Plain in historic Hyde Square. Remember, the Minuteman Settlement Network. Working together for a better Commonwealth. Yes, we are. Excellent. But I am really proud of how the hotel turned out. Opposite the Market Street here, you have, if you recall from the vanilla game, was a very small and bashed up general store with a broken concrete floor in it. When I first moved into the settlement, I changed it up to just have, I actually had a general store, the weapon store, and the surgery centre all in one building, and it looked atrocious. It looked so minimalist, it was barely recognisable. In the end, I turfed out the general store and the weapon shop and moved them here. And inside here, I set up a deluxe surgery centre, So we have our own Dr. Eileen Wiseman, who runs the surgery. If you need help, you come and speak to Eileen. She will get you the help that you need. So we have a lovely waiting room here with lots of magazines for you to read while you're waiting for your appointment, because that's what we did in the old days being now, right? Around the back here you have this table with microscopes and medical equipment. You do have the surgery centre for facial changes. I still need to give the settler here a name for that. Edwin looks like he's having a spot of bother. I'll fast forward time in a minute, move him out of there. So you've got your facial reconstruction that you can do back here. All the chems that they do, they brew them in-house. The doctors are really good at that. You've got your gurney for if you're recovering. Got your jet and all that to take the painkillers, and all that. Stim packs, the healing up. And this is where the actual surgery happens. There is a curtain to give you some privacy while, if you've been shot and you're having an operation, well, you've got a nice, I would say clean, but clean as the apocalypse can get. A clean place to work, a clean place for you to lay down and get yourself fixed up. There's all the gear you need, the IV line, the Vig light. You don't want to end up here, but if you do, you know you're in safe hands, right? This terminal is part of the settlement. I think it was supposed to be for the Protectron that used to be stationed here, but of course the Protectron station is gone now. And some Vault-Tec stuff that we looted from the vault has found its way here, along with the oxygen tanks. So you've got your little surgery centre. You've got privacy from the outside world. The blinds will cover all of that. But with green, you know you're safe if you're coming towards a green light. A little bit of propaganda, advertisement there. Out the back door, you have the living space for the merchants. So you have there used to be a big dumpster here and some stairs. The stairs have been concreted and grassed over. They used to be here that went to the back of this house. Well, now we have a concrete wall and a personal carrot farm down the side of this house. The dumpster here has been abolished, and I've put in this dividing wall along with the trash cans for the commercial premises, with a light for if you're going out to do it in the evening. A little bit of a boundary wall to separate garden from public property. Upstairs, as I say, is the living quarters. This is actually new. I don't think any of you have seen me build this, so this should be new to you. But all of the supplies for the surgery downstairs, lots of them are listed here. Lots of extra food, lots of extra clothing, lots of commercial supplies have been left up here. Anything from beer, alcohol, I say beer as though beer isn't an alcohol, but it is. Weapons, ammo, medical supplies, everything can be found up here. It's stored in just about everything, but it also doubles up as a living space for the merchants down in the street. You want to sell something? Well, you've got to store it somewhere, and storing it in your personal quarters where you have a key, it's always a good sign. That was also looted off of one of the posts which came with the settlement, so why not rig it up, right? And then have a few home comforts. Now you got your gun up here. You got your suitcase and some extra things just to make it feel a little bit more like home, despite the fact you're essentially living above a commercial property. If you want to take a load off in the evenings, well, you've got your own balcony up here. You can go wave to Tom, wave to anyone staying at the hotel. Hell, you can wave to the guards at the town centre if you really like. So you've got a nice little place to relax up here. I'm going to skip forward again to the daytime, so bear with me a second again, guys. There we go, back to it, back in the daytime. It's not foggy today, so you can see everything, which is grand. Oh yeah, you've also got a view here out into the town hall, which is lovely. Again, come down to the front, you have the entrance to the Special Forces office. We've just done a bit of a loop, bit of a loopy boy. Okay, so to the right here, you see behind this row of trees. Now that I think about it, I think this row of trees is a little bit overpowering, but we're going to roll with it. So if you continue down the street here, you have a green space on the left there, some colour. But on the right, if you remember from the vanilla game, this house was broken down and had a smashed up roof. All I've done is restore it exactly as it should have been pre-war. No one has seen me do this. It wasn't on Rebuilding the Commonwealth live. This was done off camera. But this house beds down 2. I figured 3 was a little bit too much for what it was before. You've got your bay window, somewhere to sit and watch TV. You've got your valuable safe as well. And these guys do like a beer. I mean, so do I. Friday is beer o'clock for me, I'll tell you. Locker here for hanging up your coat and all that. Got one person to bed down here. They're using a makeshift old cabinet. Oh, whoops. Excuse me. Yeah, I can tell I'm very sniffly today. Just had to let rip a massive sneeze there. You don't want that on camera. So these guys have looted like an old garage kind of cabinet. They've still got to unpack. Some room has got 2 really nice couches. And again, subway tokens. Oh, these are library tokens. They're supposed to be subway tokens. Anyway, subway tokens making an appearance here. Some nice comfortable sofas. Your storage for your food. Like, they don't have a working kitchen, but they do have somewhere to store everything. Again, your suitcase and your beer for when you're going to bed. You need a beer before you relax after a hard day. Some place to read quietly, get away from things. Pretty standard house, really. This is where the stairs used to go up to the back of these houses. As you can tell, I've extended these just enough to cover where the back of it went up. And I've boarded this off because the level of terrain didn't work out. I haven't decided what to do with this little open space yet. I was thinking of making it into a storage yard because it is exposed to the elements. But that is for another day. Excellent. Now, you guys haven't seen me do this either, but I can't remember who it was, but I have to thank them for this. They suggested a kennel, which is exactly what I did. So, off camera, I have attracted a set of doges. Some really cute doges. Look at that. And I've built a nice little kennel for all 4 of them to live in. I used the CVC dog kennels. They have a lovely variety of dog kennels to use. Some dog houses, you don't just have to use the bog standard vanilla one. And it's really sweet when you see all 4 of the dogs in here. You know, look at that. Don't they look happy? That's one happy dog. Yeah, got 4 of those. They provide security for the settlement as well as some happiness. So the happiness is shooting up again now. I put in... This is actually the Sanctuary Carport, but I've just shrunk the carport down, I think by 40%, and used this as a rain cover. So if it's raining, these dogs won't get wet. They'll be nice and comfortable in their dog houses. They're quite well insulated. A couple of mats here to make it a bit more home-like. I did have some more kennels across here, but unfortunately the dogs couldn't really interact with them, and I'd just get like a traffic jam of dogs walking around, which it didn't really flow with the settlement, so I thought I'd stick with just 4 here. And of course we have our chain link fence to keep the dogs in. In the real world perspective, this would be super impractical because if anybody knows dogs, they'll just jump straight over here. I do love a dog, but yeah. This chain link fence would not keep them in for long. But it's got a nice little entrance, and if you want to come and pet the dogs, then yeah, they're right here. Lovely. Across the way, if you remember this, this was just a mound of terrain where there used to be like the remains of what I believe to be a kids' park. Well, I decided to put these retaining walls in to create a tiered style of almost like an esplanade for the settlement. If you know what that is, that's like it's kind of like the walk that you have right in front of the seaside if you live near a beach. So you have like an upper tier where you have the roadway and everything like that. So that's kind of what that is. Excuse me. So on top of this esplanade, I gave it some homely touches with these metal benches. These actually come from bus stops, and I figured there are some bus stops in the settlement, or there were before I rebuilt it, so it stands to reason they'd tear them up and use them for actual furniture. I don't like to give the impression of homeless people, but I kind of do. So we've got Ellis Faraday and Blake Velasco. They're friends, they've been there ages. We have a sort of street vendor here. Vivian, I believe, sells clothing. Across here we have Leonard Perry. He sells general stuff. I know they don't have equipment around them, but they kind of work in partnership with people who have stuff. So they kind of take your order, they get it to you, hence clipboards. These buses actually double up as homes and as defences for the settlement. This entire part was completely open before we came along. So what I did was put in these buses, which then creates a makeshift wall across the settlement, like so. And then I doubled it up with some sandbags for bulletproofing, concrete, more sandbags, and some of those VIP kind of gates. You'll also notice these metal plates. These are actually boxcar doors, which I have simply locked using the lock door mods. What these act as are bulletproof metal plating for the windows, so you can live in these buses and you're going to be not at risk of being shot by collateral damage. You know, if these guys suddenly start opening fire against raiders coming up the street, you're not going to get hit while you sleep. These are also powered, or at least were. Strange. Oh no, I get it. Those are indirect. But yeah, this is powered, so the lights on the bus will obviously illuminate. This bus here is for the clothing merchant. Here he is, Frederick Wills. He sat on a piece of furniture which it is a clothes vendor, but it fits perfectly with the bus thematic. I've tried to create these to be very, very homely, but very, very compact. So you've got somewhere to sit and relax, you've got curtains so that no one can see into the bus. You've even got curtains separating the cabin where you can put some of your personal equipment up front. This person has a coat rack. He has some of his stock in here, so he can sell that to the outside. He can give it to her to sell off. So he conducts his business from here. And he's got a nice place to sleep under the back window. So when it's raining, you probably get a really nice effect. Hehe. This is the next one. It is for the general trader. Water pump, which will service both of the buses. Safe here with some of your general equipment. You know, some chems. Maybe they're using, maybe they're selling. It's whatever they want to do. Windows, again, plated. Curtains to cover you from the front, where he's storing his stim packs and a couple of other things in the trash can. Stereo to kick back and listen. Curtains to cover the windows again. And a workstation. I mean, he's a bit of a mechanic. He can put together whatever it is that he wants to do in here. storage for his meds, his clothes, and a curtain to keep the privacy if anyone wants to come in during the night. Like, if I had to stay anywhere, I honestly wouldn't mind one of these buses. They've been built really homely. They've even got a rug to keep the hard floor out. So you got these two, which I think make really nice homes for what they are. A nice creative use for them, I like to think. Of course, this is the West Gate. This is the place that looks over the Shore High School and the Fallon's department store, which is, if you've played the game, very, very much inhabited by super mutants. Ooh, that was weird. This defence is a mixture of gravel bags, gravel blocks, tyres, concrete and sandbags, and then some makeshift street furniture. Note you can only see their eyes. That is for a good reason, because this is a very open area. You got someone with a sniper rifle out there, you want to see as little of them as possible. This is guarded by First Specialist Shane Warne. That is kind of being named after the really famous cricketer, the Australian cricketer who recently passed away. God rest him. Had a good old chat with somebody in the Rebuilding the Commonwealth live, and we sort of decided that we should have a soldier named after the legend. So we have Shane Warne, the corporal in charge, Claire Amersham, Mina Archer, who also guards the front gate here. These are the day crew, so they can just about see over the top. Just see over the top with their eyes. If there is an attack, they will, they'll be able to peek out from it, but they'll be able to see them coming with nobody seeing them, which is the point of these benches. The day team, I believe, sleeps in here. Move. I'm trying to get in there. There's the one problem with settlers is they do like to get in the way. Let me just sleep for an hour and move everybody. There you go. Perfect. So the crew sleeps in here. We have a typewriter station for creating their schedules, day and night. Evening workers, lunch breaks, all that kind of stuff. There's tons of them here. Exit. 3 beds for the day crew. TV. I should give this to the guys at the other gates, but I haven't got round to it. Personal effects, somewhere to sit and read a newspaper if you really want to. And this is the diner. It is the Drumlin Diner. It's the same footprint as the Drumlin Diner. So you finish after a hard day, you can come in and relax. You've got good old Sam Caprico over here who will sell you whatever you want. You can take a load off. Fun fact, when I first built this, I left it just as it is now, and I found that settlers were creating a massive backlog of people outside here, so I had to end up putting booths on the outside as well. So you've got some alfresco dining, which seems to have alleviated the issue. As well, I added some more things to do, like pommel horses and these weight benches, which keep the settlers a little bit more spread out, dispersed, that's it. So they don't all bunch up in one place. But they all seem to queue up for the weight benches, so that's always fun. This bit here is just a nice bit of greenery, or rather water feature, because there wasn't enough space to make a greenery. Again, this side is just a greenery. Still need to put some rose bushes there, that's an imperfection. And of course the path that goes round the back to the tank and the other gate, around the back of the town hall. Nothing too special there. Lovely. This pod here is for the night crew, for the opposite shift of the West Gate. So again, they have some bare minimal stuff. Just some things to enjoy themselves. This is also next to this settlement's power source, which is this fusion generator, which produces 100 power, which is enough for just about everything. I can get rid of this beta wave emitter now because I don't need it. So that wire travels pretty much all the way around the settlement. I believe if you look closely enough, you can see that some of the wires going around the settlement. Across here used to be a house on the vanilla game. I have torn that down and just created a very large food production here. So all of this fertile soil is being harvested for the settlement's food needs. I think this one area creates 40 food. So this is a very key part for raiders to attack. Hence why it's a little bit inside the settlement instead of out in the open. Not really too much to see there, to be honest. This here is what I call the farmhouse. Again, this is just a ruin in vanilla. I have restored the ruin. Oh, for crying out loud. Here we go again. Let's go and deal with it. I think I just killed a provisioner doing that. Oh shit. I think I killed 2 settlers. Ooh. Okay, who did I kill? Because I think I got a settler with that. No, that was a dreadnought, that's fine. Slaughter dog. These guys are all bad people. Gunners, gunners. I still think I've killed somebody. We've lost a Minuteman. And the mayor! That was the mayor! Well, they were outside that blast. I don't think I killed them. I don't think I killed this guy. Looks like we're going to need a new mayor. Rest in peace, Shelley. Rest in peace. Oh, we lost a minute, man. Damn. It's a dark day for the Minutemen. We'll have to replace her. Let me get back to what we were doing. Right. So back at the farmhouse here. Now this farmhouse, I call it that because it's a little bit bigger than the others. Has a bigger plot. This has lots of armor and equipment, lots of collectibles. These guys have been here a while, including some decorations here. Place to watch TV. Quite a few collectibles from the nearby places we've raided, because why not? Including a working eatertronic. A lot of gardening supplies and general food that's been left around. Again, this place has some graphical corruptions, so not perfect. Got your kitchen in. These guys are a bit richer with a kitchen. This place sleeps 4. Oh wow, I don't think I finished this place properly, did I? Damn. Out the back here is another set of farm stuff. You've got corn, carrots, gourd. You've got the whole lot out here. They're getting ready to properly fence it in. So they've got these little barriers to step over, but they want to stick some chicken wire over it and get it all set up. Barbecue, if you want to invite your friends over. And a lot of equipment that they're using to nurture the farm place. Hey, they've even got their own plants in a box, along with their fertilizers, shovels, you name it. This is also a place for the Brahmin to feed, but I think the Brahmin are not here at the moment, so that's always fun. So we've got the farmhouse there. Now this is the other side of the urban gardens. We've done a loop all the way around. So that's the hotel up towards the church. We've done a loop around the lower tier of Jamaica Plain. Now, this part here was just flat terrain. The problem with this part here was this. Here. This ground, right? That was really tall. That stuff went up really, really high. So you couldn't really put a house on it without making it about 50 feet off the ground. My solution was to mimic what was already here and create another upper tier on this end. So on this side you have upper tiered green gardens which go right the way to the edge of the settlement. These rock walls were not here. I put them in myself. There were some cliffs in the homemaker section which I used to create an artificial wall, or rather a natural wall between the outside of the settlement and here, because I didn't really want to create another exit to the settlement and put a ton more Minutemen on guard. I wanted this to have more settlers than soldiers, so that's the creative choice behind that. Each one of these has its own sort of standard of living. This one has a working kitchen, sunroom to go and enjoy yourself, and it sleeps two. I decided to put in some of these dead rugs for a bit of variety's sake. This one has its own little balcony for you to have a beer and enjoy the urban garden view. Yes, the reason this is choppy, my frame rate is awful. Yeah, got your beer to sit out here and enjoy. So good for a couple of friends to move in. Of course, you can't be late. They don't even have a bedside table, so just using a set of suitcases for it. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? And a Mr. Handy box. As if a Mr. Handy would come brand new like that, but you never know. Again, I've laid out all these in a unique way to create a lived-in look. And added in the mixing bowl, because why wouldn't I? So that's one of the upper tier. This one has the sunroom, of course, sticking off this side. This one does not have a sunroom. It has a very basic kitchen, TV, clock. So quite minimalist, maybe just moved in. Out here they have their own little greenhouse which provides another slither of food for the settlement. So the responsibility for the food supply here kind of falls to everybody to get right. That's the reason why we have those planters out here. Upstairs, this house has a bathroom. Quite a nice done bathroom. I know there's dishes in the bathroom sink. There's no way to get rid of the dishes. They literally come like that in the settlement pack. So, woe me. We have a bath station for people to use for when you've come home from a day out in the field, or doing what you're doing every day. Little clock, little antique. And of course, you've got your shared bedroom next door. So you do have a fair bit of privacy in this house. And you have a house balcony that looks over the gardens of the farmhouse. You've got one that looks towards the town centre. You do have some really nice views up here as well. I mean, you are on one of the upper tiers, so you kind of would. This house was an absolute pain in the arse to put together, by the way. I spent hours trying to get the roof on this place correct. So if you don't like this house, I don't really know what to tell you, because this house was a nightmare. This one was alright. It was just a straight square. That was fine. This house took me hours because I couldn't quite get the roof to line up. And it looked awful for hours and hours, and I nearly smashed my Fallout 4 and uninstalled it. Okay, I didn't go that far, but you get the idea. Excellent. A little bit further in, we have the grocery store, which is actually run by the Vault-Tec Rep, because Vault-Tec Rep is a great salesperson, and having him in the settlement is great. even if he hasn't achieved
No
anything.
idea what it's been like scrounging around for 2 centuries with this ugly mug.
Yes, because he's spent 2 centuries and hasn't even changed his clothes. Believe me, I'm going to get like 10 copies of his outfit and just have like nothing but hundreds and hundreds of uniforms for him to wear when I get the opportunity, thanks to the suggestions of a lovely viewer. But yeah, this is Preston's grocery store. This was also a viewer suggestion for the name. Great deals at a moment's notice. This is the Vault-Tec Rep Shop. He's got all of his groceries. If you want to get beer and drinks, they're all here. Fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. He needs to restock here because he's lazy. Packaged food is all here. And you've even got some like freezers over here. If you need to get frozen food like Salisbury steak and fresh meat. I say fresh meat, it's not fresh and frozen, but you get the idea. And a shelf he needs to stock. So yeah, this is Preston's store, run by the Vault-Tec Rep. He's very happy to have the job, I'm telling you. Over here is the source of all of the water, or most of the water for the settlement, which is 101. This produces 65 of it. The cannon behind it is that the pipe is collecting water from the ground here, which wouldn't be out of the question, but that's where the water's collected, and the pipe pipes it out to all of the taps and all the stuff like that. So the whole settlement has good running water now. I didn't really know what to build here. There's not really much space to put a house, and the RVs and small places do not fit, so I left that blank. I think it looks better like that, honestly. Believe me, it's not through lack of trying. If you remember, this house here used to be diagonal and had a garage. I moved the house diagonally. I tore down the garage and I put on the add-on room instead. Made it 2 stories. This has a decking which goes round to a back garden with a water pipe and all these lovely flowers. This is also a source of food for the settlement. There's a lot of graphical tearing in this alleyway, but there's not much I can do about that. Inside, this sleeps 4. There's enough space here. We've got a nice little kitchen to prepare food, a dining table for when you're having your dinner at the end of the day, and a TV to unwind. This one doesn't seem to work though, which is fun. Upstairs, you have your bookshelf and little bits of the stuff you're gardening before you plant it outside. This is quite homely in that you've got the curtains to cover all the windows, you've got a bay window that you can sit in, and enough privacy so you don't have to constantly be staring at the person who lives opposite. You've also got a pretty nice view down the street to the Drumlin Diner, so you can see how busy that gets at night. That's pretty crazy, actually, at night time. Considering I haven't slept and they've all come off their duties and they've all found their way there is quite promising. So a nice little house for 4. Could probably get a family in here, if anything. Granted, you don't get much privacy in that. They've also got some clothes hanging out front. This part here used to be the driveway going up to the little house, but I decided to turn it into a storage area for crap. The reason for that is because these 2 houses are completely empty, because this is property for sale. Plus it has a lot of graphical tearing, so decorating this would do nothing but harm my frame rate while still being a bit of an affront to interior design. So these are vacant. Vacant houses, nobody lives here, nobody's bought them yet. Because, I mean, that's realistic. So, like, look how bad that is. Like, for real. But yeah, it'd be common wherever you live that there would be houses that are for sale. And in that case, this is 2 of them. 2 houses for sale. Not yet been sold. But it serves to complete a really nice look up here. Bit of variation, a little bit of good looks. I think they look quite nice. Even if nobody lives here yet. That could be people clearing the houses out from when we just built them. Here, if you remember, used to be two houses side by side. It is still two houses side by side, but they've been repaired, so the wall in the middle has been fixed, and they have their own little living space. I need to put someone using this during the day. Some storage for Preston's grocery store here. Up top sleeps two. A little leisure area that you can use to store all your goods. You can relax after a hard day. Store your goods in these tables and your ammo boxes. You can watch TV downstairs or oogle at the neighbours. Or even down the street. I mean, look how busy that is. And you can even see the grocery store from here, so if you think someone's breaking in, well, you can see it. Not that anyone would break in here, that's what we have the Minutemen for. We have four houses very, very similar to that. These guys have got cleaning supplies out front. So again, bit of a living space here. Small kitchen area to keep the food, but no cooking facilities. TV, place for you to drink your coffee, have some beer and store your gear. A basic rug for a bit of a homely feel. Some classic artwork. Upstairs, again, sleeps two. Personal effects and boxes. Suitcase under the bed, just been sort of left there where people are unpacking. Lots of storage here, which whoever lives here is currently trying to repair. And of course, they're a bit of a wordsmith, so they've got their typewriter to do their work on. Very patriotic, and the views from here are really nice. You can see right out over the farm. I wouldn't mind living in one of these, even if I am right above the kennel. Next house along, these two I put in place. I can't remember what used to be there before, I'll be honest with you, but I decided to tear the whole thing out and just create a row of houses. These guys like to lounge in style. Listening to their lovely stereo. Got books to read and enjoy. Food they've brought from the market. And all their food supplies. And cleaning supplies. So if they ever get hungry, they've got it here. So they've got no cooking facilities, but they have a healthy supply. You can look out over the kennels in here too. Again, sleeps two, using this bashed up rug here. Beer bottles, smokes to enjoy. Paintings. These guys have obviously looted some paintings and are going to be either reframing them and hanging them or something like that. Couple of couches here and a place to enjoy, play cards. Swindle your friends in a game of Caravan, if any of you remember that from Fallout New Vegas. Oh, who knows? These people could be from New Vegas. I haven't decided on backstories. That'd be a lot of backstories to write. And the last house in the terrace here. A couple of sofas to relax. I do apologise, this house has a lot of graphical bugs. Table for your booze. Some storage they haven't quite got round to yet, but a place for you to watch your TV. Shelves here. Display case. Because you've got a display case, but you've got nothing to display, so you might as well use it to store your stuff. More storage, and your cleaning supplies have been left over. Up here, you have the looted steamer trunk that comes from Vault 81. And there's a lot of tools, because these guys like to scrap pre-war electronics. And they do a good job of it too. Either that, or they restore them, like, taking one of these, turning it into that, and then polishing it into that. Yeah, these guys are good at what they do. Very good at what they do. Oh, excuse me. And plus you have a little view into the surgery there. This one probably has the worst views out of the terrace, especially with that poking through. There's not much I can do about this though. But you can still see some decent stuff. You can see out to the diner. So you've got your gorgeous little terrace here. nice. And finally, the one thing I haven't yet covered, which I will now, is the Town Hall. Now the Town Hall is, well, the crown jewel of Jamaica Plain. This was, I think, the first building I set up, with the exception of this. I don't think I made that into an office before then, I just sort of made it look better. But this was one of the first buildings which went up, and it kind of set the tone for Jamaica Plains, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. Like, I stuck to the general floor plan, but I renovated the front, and we put Gillian McQuaid and Specialist Julia Kenny, them two guard out front. They have their weapons drawn, as you can see. There is a secretary who works here, but obviously they don't do nights. That is the secretary there. Waiting room, if you're here to see the mayor. I swear to God there used to be a painting there, but it's gone now. A lovely feature piece of the Cabots, which is great. Bear with. There we go. Don't like to sneeze on camera, you see. Back here is a storage area. Fun fact for you, I do actually have doors. You can just about see a slither of one here. They're sliding doors. Problem is, when you open them, you can't close them again, because reasons. So it looks like there's no doors, but there are actually doors on this place. This is just a storeroom for literally just about everything. Anything and everything, they store it back here. Here is a room for the front door guards. I've just realised I haven't actually decorated this room, so that's fun. I still have that to do in that case. If you remember the layout from the original building, this wall here was broken, and this was a staircase up. Well, I have retained the staircase, the same one as what was there before. This hallway has retained its shape. If you remember correctly, this room had a dead raider in it. Well, this is now a room for the artillery troops up on the rooftop. So you've got 3 people who sleep in here. You've got all their equipment, all their guns, all their hobbies and maintenance along here. Plus they have a nice view while they're doing it. These windows are bulletproof, by the way. See, not a single bullet goes through. So, as a government building, it's well protected. I did actually recruit in another settler, another Minuteman, to replace poor Shelley Bowes. Rest her. I'll write her down on the memorial. We have lost quite a few Minutemen since the series began, after all. This corridor remains empty, with the exception of the patriotic flags that we hang. This room here is for another 3 of the operators for the artillery, so that's all 6 accounted for. One of them even has a TV to watch with his lovely candles. I bet he's a right bit of fun to spend time with. Oh yeah, fishing net out the back there for a bit of extra food. That looks like a settler stood by the banks there. But they share these mats for you to get out of bed and not have to stand on the cold floor. A terminal to fix, and of course they're storing some of the ammunition for the gun down here, along with a few bits of decoration as you come in, and a few extra shelves, because why not? I was going to put a bookshelf here, or something that will take up that gap a bit nicer, but I figured 3 beds is better distribution. Still need to do something in this hallway though. I mean, this isn't the end of Jamaica Plain. I will be back here to do some extra work, but I'm going to leave some of that down to you. Okay, this is the room for the Major. The Major sleeps in here. He's got his own private wash station. He's got a place he can sit and entertain guests. He's got his own memoirs and his books for him to study and read up. He's even got blinds on his windows. He's got a place he can sit and read the newspaper, his explosives, all of his stuff is here, his locker. And on top of that, he has Luna Uchiha, who is his personal bodyguard. She has a partition in his room, which is blocked off for privacy. She has her father's, I believe it's her father's M14 here. Although it's not standard Minuteman issue, she keeps it as a family heirloom. Got her holotapes for recording her diaries and a key to the room, of course. She's got some casual clothes to hang. And she's got a little TV that she watches quietly if she can't sleep. Needs to stay fresh to guard the Major. Toolbox, servicing her weapons. And of course any miscellaneous property she keeps in there. So this is the quarters for the officer in command. Now, if you remember this room, there was a hole in here, and this room used to be the mayor's office. Well, that wall has since been patched up, and I have retained the stairs down to the basement and made this nicer. Now, this room here is where I'm going to go next. And I have a really cool idea for it. I'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, it's a bit of a weird configuration, but we have a staircase here which bypasses the second floor and goes up to the third. Or the second floor if you're in the UK, because, you know, ground first and second. Now, this is the mayor's office. The mayor who, I must remind you, just died. Sake. So yeah, we have a mayor who just died, but this is his office. He would usually work here. He's got all of his archives for his citizens and his important work. He keeps a healthy supply of expensive alcohols, because what politician wouldn't? All of his collectibles, his rich stuff that he keeps around, a safe, his more collectibles, the baseball cards from the basement, because why wouldn't you? I mean, this guy has so many books on running things and law that, you know, he's a career politician, or at least he was. Now we have to elect another one. You have a balcony to look over the wasteland. Wouldn't recommend this side in case you get sniped, but yeah, you can enjoy the view out here. Or likewise, you can enjoy the view out front from your office. And this is also the office of Major Grant, Major Ernesto Grant, who is one of the very few officers for the artillery soldiers. But he's in command here. He's the major for a couple of settlements this way, or at least he will be. You've got his personal wall safe, and his personal effects are laying around. He's got his own short version of the FAMAS, but of course he has his own. A sword, because what officer wouldn't? This part still needs a little bit of extra decoration, which I will deal with in due course. Lunch pail, because bring your lunch to work. You don't really need to, though, because you've got a lovely set of dining area here. So not too much. And of course, his personal bodyguard.
It's good to know we can count on the Minutemen.
You are the Minutemen, shut up. So yeah, Specialist First Class Luna Uchiha, which is a suggestion from a fan. I think that's Megan Frank. Thank you very much for that suggestion. So the Major and the Mayor both work together in this building. So always good to see politicians and the army working together, right? This is the Mayor's personal quarters. A nice secure door that you can lock from the inside with a code pad, so nobody's going to be getting through this if you're in trouble. You can wait for assistance. You've got your balcony. I mean, if I open this, I'm not going to close it again. But it's worth it. You've got your balcony. Again, looks out to the wasteland. Your own private bathroom. Don't really know what you're doing in here, because you don't have a job, of course. Yeah, it's got your bath station. You've got your sink and all that kind of stuff, so you can live it up in here. This does actually have a door. It's a sliding door, and I can't reach it. So there is a door. Just you'll have to trust me on that one. But yeah, you can live here. It's also basically designed as a safe room. So if you have the settlement getting raided, you can flee back here you've got supplies, you can hold out before the Minutemen come back to rescue you. So you'll be okay in here. And finally, up on the roof of the town hall is the artillery piece. Right here we have the 155mm howitzer. You've got Lieutenant Charles Brogan, who answers to Major Grant downstairs, but he oversees the artillery operations. The lieutenant is the start of the officer ranks.
Would stand by us.
So you can see his lieutenant badge right there. All of the artillery guys have this symbol on their shoulders, so you can distinguish them. They also carry grenades instead of magazines, and they all have UMPs and heavy snipers. I mean, that is a artillery UMP. And of course, the snipers carry those, because you can't risk the artillery pieces. These things are state of the art. William Irons is controlling the terminal. I've made a rule that the artillery crews will operate in crews of 5 or more. You need 2 guards, i.e. 2 snipers, the operator, the spotter, who would normally be here, so the camera will range in where the shot's coming from, or where the shot needs to go rather. This person will then fire it. And of course you have a support person who will keep an eye out. Like oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Like Maxine Carswell here. So the crews will operate in teams of 5 or more. The crew here is a team of 6, but from here they can range out practically anywhere in the southern part of the map. And that will wrap up Jamaica Plains. We have finished this settlement. Just a couple of little cosmetic touches here and there, but we finished the settlement, guys. We finished it. Now, where do we go from here? Well, I've heard you guys have a lot of suggestions about where I should take the building to next, and I love all of them. And even I can't decide, but there are 2 places that I want to build on. Both of them would be custom settlements. So, here's your choice, guys. I'll probably balance the 2 if I can't get a consensus, but I'm going to build in Jamaica Plains basement. Now, I have a really big and really cool idea for the Jamaica Plains basement. I don't think I've mentioned what it is over the last few episodes, so you'll have to think of that yourself. Or, over the hill there is the Galaxy News radio station, also known as the Gunners Plaza. Now, I've built a camp grenade, as you saw me do this episode. I can either use that camp in the basement and build this really cool idea, or, as a user actually suggested this, we go across the pond and we attack the Galaxy News radio station and we take it over and use it as a newscasting station for the Minutemen. Forget radio, the Minutemen will literally be on the TV. Not literally, the TVs will not actually do that, but lore-wise, we can take over the the TV station, and we can create an amazing administration centre. Both of these would be really difficult projects, and they're not actually colonising parts of the map, which I suppose that's the wrong word. We're not populating settlements on the map, which are part of the game, but we're adding more settlers to the workload. Either one is going to be fantastic, so please, down below, comment where you want me to go next out of those 2, the names for the mayor, and what part of this settlement you found to be your favourite. Remember, I read every comment, and I reply to the vast majority of them. I also reply to comments on old videos, so even if you're commenting in videos way back when, most of the time I will get a flag that someone's commented and I can come and reply to you. So, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you so much if you've lasted all the way to the end of this tour. I really appreciate you. I always do. It is very much appreciated, all the support. Keep like, comment, and subscribing. I won't bore you with the rest because they all do that. Every YouTuber ever known. And have a good one. Stay safe. Let me know where you want me to go. And I'll see you on the next settlement. Thank you very much, and peace. Goodbye.